Hi there, I'm Suzette Kroll, registered dietitian. I'm your personal nutrition guide. In today's session, we're going to talk about your patterns of eating and how to eat mindfully. Now, when I take a diet history and listen to what someone's eating, I'm not only listening to the kinds of food they're eating, I'm listening to the timing. What's your pattern of eating like? It's very common to hear, oh, I skip breakfast and I skip lunch, and then at the end of the day, I want to eat the entire kitchen. And to that I say, of course, anybody would. When we undereat early on, we always overeat later on. That's because there's hormones that regulate your hunger and you cannot outsmart them. If you undereat, eventually you're going to overeat. So we need to reframe thinking around this. Skipping meals is not a good thing, and eating regularly is a good thing. Now I get it. When you want to lose weight, you might think, oh, I should skip meals so I skip calories. But if skipping calories leads to overeating calories later on, it just doesn't make sense. So we really need to get into the pattern of regular eating. A regular pattern of eating means your blood sugar level is more stable, you have more energy and less cravings. So a pattern of eating that looks like this, where you don't eat for a long period of time, your blood sugar starts to go down like this. And then you eventually crave something like sugar, sweets, or carbs that are going to bring your blood sugar up real quick. And whatever comes up quick comes down quick too. So we wind up falling into a pattern of craving or eating a lot of junky foods when we've gone a long time without eating. Anybody does. You're just walking right into it by skipping meals. A regular pattern of eating keeps your blood sugar level nice and steady and even. You never go up too high and never crash down too low. So if I eat morning, noon, and night, my blood sugar level stays stable. That's what we want to get in the habit of doing. Your ability to make a good decision about food has everything to do with where you are, who you're with, your emotions at the time, and how hungry you are. Of all of these, you have most control over how hungry you are at any given moment. And you can control that by eating regularly. So from today forward, start eating intentionally. Put yourself on a food schedule. We've talked in a previous session about a fluid schedule where you drink according to the clock. Now I'm talking about eating according to the clock, or some general sense of timing. Eat within an hour of getting up, and then maybe every 4 to 5 hours thereafter. Try to plan your meal times in advance and schedule them on your planner like it's an important doctor's appointment that you wouldn't miss. A general pattern of eating is just eating morning, noon, and night if you don't have the exact times down. Okay, or you could, again, set an exact schedule. If you're up from 6 to 10, a schedule could look like this. Breakfast at 7, lunch 12:30, and dinner at 5 or 6. And if you're hungry, a little snack around 8. And if you were really hungry between meals, you certainly could eat more fruit and vegetables like we've been talking about in previous sessions of trying to eat more. What to eat at these main meals? Protein and produce, you've heard it before. Now, since you haven't had your weight loss surgery, you want to proportionally eat more produce than protein. And after your surgery and during the honeymoon period, when you're losing most of your weight, you're actually going to eat more protein than the vegetables and fruits. Now, you must be thinking, what about the carbohydrates? Can't I have any of those? My answer is yes. Just get used to eating them in smaller amounts. You can use what we call stacking to think about how to eat carbohydrates. That means stack the food groups in the right order. Eat your protein and produce first. So maybe eat your chicken and broccoli first, and then if you want to have potatoes and rice, eat it at the end of the meal. This way you won't be able to eat that much of it because you'll feel really full from the chicken and broccoli. You can also think about healthy eating in the way that you think about getting dressed. When we get dressed, we put on essentials, namely a shirt and pants. The essentials at your meal are your protein and your produce. When we get dressed, we might put on accessories like a necklace, but we just put on 1 or maybe 2. We don't put on 30 necklaces, and our necklaces don't outweigh the shirt and the pants. And neither should your carbs or the added fats. That's because the carbs and added fats are accessories to the meal. So we want to have more protein and produce and kind of bling them out with the carbohydrates and the added fats. So I'm going to use nuts as an example here as an added fat. They do have protein in them, but they have more fat than protein. So I like to call them the condiment or the bling to the meal. So if I have a salad with chicken in it and maybe strawberries in it, I have my protein and produce, and then I bling it out with a little bit of slivered almonds on the top. This way I control the almonds. If I sit down and just have a handful of almonds, I've missed my shirt and pants. I've missed the protein and produce. I've really missed the essential part of the meal that really fills me up. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, how you eat matters as much as what you eat, and this is going to be really important after your surgery, or you're going to find that you feel sick after you eat. Get in the habit of cutting your food into really small pieces before you eat. They should be the size of an eraser, a peanut, or a bean. Get everything cut up before you start. Get in the habit of using small utensils. If you use a big fork like this, you're going to be able to shovel a lot of bites on it versus using a utensil like this. This is a cocktail fork. If you don't have cocktail forks or small utensils or baby utensils around, it really would be smart to purchase some. Which plate here has more food, do you think? If you guess they're equal, you're actually right. The small plate may look like it has more food, but because it's small, the small amount of food looks quite adequate on it. When we put a small amount of food on a big plate, our human nature tells us, or our eyes tell us, that it's not enough, and our human nature tries to fill up the plate. And when we put more on the plate, we eat more. So get in the habit of using the smallest dishes that you have, or maybe purchase some smaller baby-sized dishes or child-sized dishes. After you take a bite, get in the habit of putting your fork down and your hands down in your lap. And when you do so, when your fork's down and your hands down, then chew each bite thoroughly. Try to chew maybe 25 or 30 times each bite, or at least chew until the food is the consistency of applesauce. And then master the pause. This means pausing 1 full minute between the bites. You could use a sand timer, a 1-minute sand timer, or use your phone and time 1 minute. I have a 1-minute sand timer in my hand. I'm going to turn it over as we're talking, and I'll keep an eye on it. But this would be a full minute and the length of time that you need to leave between the bites. Okay, and then repeat the process. So take a small bite, put your fork down, hands down in your lap, chew each bite 25 or 30 times, and then pause. Pause a minute before you take the next bite. Then repeat. Small bite, fork down, hands down in your lap, chew thoroughly 25 or 30 times. Then pause a minute. Then repeat. 25 or 30, take a small bite, fork down, hands down, 25 or 30 chews, then pause and repeat. You want to keep repeating until you're no longer hungry, not until you're stuffed. And there is a difference between the two. There's a term, a Japanese term, Hara, Hachi, and it means eat until you're 80% full. There's a difference again between being stuffed and being full. Now my 1-minute sand timer has come to an end, so that's how long a minute is. We would just now be taking a second bite of food, put the fork down, hands down in your lap, chew the food 25 or 30 times, swallow, and then turn the sand timer over again. So back to this concept of eating until you're not hungry anymore versus full. You can use a hunger scale to help you get this concept down. Hunger scale is a scale of 1 to 10. At a 1, you're so hungry you could eat anything, and at a 10, you're so painfully full you might feel sick. You never want to get to either extreme end of the scale. So when we're at a 1, we're so hungry, we'll eat until we're a 10. This is what happens when we go all day without eating. So we really want to start eating when we're about a 4, and we want to stop eating when we're maybe that 7 or 8. That's the Hara, Hachi, Bu. So every time you eat over the next month, just stop for a minute and ask yourself, how hungry am I on a scale of 1 to 10? And as you're getting finished, how full am I on that scale of 1 to 10 to increase your awareness? There is a difference between hunger and appetite, and I always say your neck is the dividing line. From your neck up, it's your head, and that's more like appetite, and neck down is more physical hunger. So physical hunger, you actually have physical symptoms. Your stomach might growl, you might feel inability to concentrate, you might have a little bit of a headache, or you might feel kind of tired. Head hunger is what I call recreational eating, or appetite. We eat because we see food or hear about it or smell it, or we're having a bad day, or we're procrastinating, doing something else. We really want to eat for physical hunger, not head hunger or appetite. So just start to raise your awareness when you eat. Why are you eating? Is it neck up or neck down? And this concept, avoid drinking beverages with your meals, is unique to weight loss surgery and after the surgery. So you want to get in the habit after the surgery of not drinking and eating at the same time. It's a hard habit to get into, so it might be useful to start this now. You want to not drink when you eat, finish the meal, and then wait at least 15 minutes to start drinking your beverage again. Okay, so from now until your next visit, these are your goals. Establish a regular pattern of eating, avoid skipping meals, avoid getting overly hungry, try to eat morning, noon, and night, and even try to set up your regular times that you're going to eat. Eat mindfully. Take small bites, put your fork down and hands down between bites, chew each bite 25 to 30 times or until the consistency is like applesauce, pause a minute between bites, and repeat until you're only 80% full. Avoid drinking beverages with the meals. Get in the habit of this now. So have a good month. I'll see you next session. I'm Suzette Kroll, registered dietitian. I'm your personal nutrition guide. See you next time.